Hey.
Hey, come on in the room. Come on in the room.
Come on in and see
What's going on, good people out there? Hey, welcome to M.V.P.
Giving you a man's viewpoint, and we just want to help you see. We talk real life, no cap, no shade. Truth in the open, no mask, no fade. From love and money to faith and pride, it's a ride through the mind of the other side.
What's up? What's up? Be like one of the deacons in the old church. Come on in the room. Yeah, come on in the room, Lordy. Come on in the room. That's how they do, boy.
That good church rock.
Yes, sir. That good church rock and the wood flow and them hand claps, but it ain't nothing like that. What's going on, good people? Good to see y'all again. What's up, man?
Back at it. You know, the devil been trying,
Well,
son. The devil been trying, but we know we back here. We back at it again.
Well,
Episode 3.
Well, I'm telling you.
And I'm feeling good.
He been going to and fro,
God is good, though.
trying to see who he can devour. But what the lady say? But not today. Not
not up in here.
not up in here. Not up in here. Yeah, this been a rough week, man. This was a week. This was a week. We hope it. If it was a week for you, man, you know, hopefully we can exhale, and you know, we got to give some thanks and praise, man, to the Lord, because really, it was only Him this week. A lot of things happened. So, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show.
Happy to be here.
Yes, sir. And literally happy to be here.
Yeah.
Because you could have been somewhere else.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Could have been dead and gone, like them
Yeah.
old, like the testimony service back in the day. You spared my life. I'm about to take y'all to church. Y'all
Need a
finna go to
good
church.
pregame. Good pregame.
Yeah, it's pregame.
Starting that thing out.
What's on your mind? Pregame. So this is a pregame section. You know, y'all know who I am. I'm Tony Smith, one of your co-hosts, and
Taylor Smith back at it again. You know the pregame my favorite part. So
him in this pregame.
let's ease into that thing real smooth, like real smooth, like.
How is that?
I should have poured a drink before the camera.
No, well, no, he go on pour one while you know.
But what we got today? What we got today though?
You ready to get into it?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Right, that boy said he ready to get into it. So anyway, y'all might be missing something. We're missing something, and it's my fault. I gave it to the Indiana Pacers last night. Our MVP trophy. I went on and gave that thing to them boys last night, man.
Oh, yeah. That's what you got. That's what you got winning.
That's
okay.
But I pulled the topic out of there
Before you gave it.
I gave it to him. Because Halliburton, and it's Halliburton. What the hell?
What the hell?
What the
Halliburton?
Yeah.
What the hell he on?
What the yeah, all of that. Halliburton before I gave
So
him the
you
trophy.
basically forgot it. Got you.
Nah, I gave the trophy to Halliburton. Man.
Okay. For sure.
Okay.
Hopefully he got it.
Yeah, he got it. But I pulled the topic up out of there.
What we got?
Man, this topic, it's fire, man. And actually the topic is a question. So we got to get into it. But I think this is, you know, when I looked at the topic, shouts out to Cheryl over in St. Pete for sending this question. And I almost threw it back in there because I was like,
You weren't ready to touch it.
yeah, I was like, I don't know. But anyway, today's topic, it comes in a question form.
Mm-hmm.
Cheryl wants to know, what makes a man go from physical to emotional, and what makes a woman go from emotional to physical?
Got you.
Once again,
That's a good one. I like that. Good
what
little
makes
two-parter.
a man go from physical to emotional, and then what makes a woman go from emotional to physical?
Well, I would love to hear you start this thing.
Nah,
off, Tony.
I
What
was
you-
about to. No, sir. I
what
was about
you-
to say. I'm a yield to the congressman from.
Oh, you want to throw me in there first?
I'm gonna throw you.
Man, I think those are two great questions. What makes, I think it's a lot of different things. If I had to, for me personally, what makes a man go from physical to emotional? I think for men, we are physical creatures just naturally. I think when you talk about, going from that physical aspect, and we're talking about what, like sexual,
Whatever we can
yeah.
talk about that.
I think for that, I think for men it's more so just like being around that person, growing feelings for that person. I would say time. I would say time for that. I think when a man is around a woman for a while and he gets to see that, wow, I like her more than just the physical aspect. Like, she's cool. It's a vibe. We can hang. We could do this. We could do that. And it's not a burden, or I don't feel like she's a bother. I think time is the answer for that. Now, if we flip that thing on the other side, for me, what makes a woman go from an emotional place to a physical place, I would say just going through so many men or relationships that may not have worked out, so that you kind of find yourself in a place as a woman where it's like you're not even expecting an emotional connection to a man. It's more of just using him physically. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've been hurt so many times, or you've been in this situation, that it's like, when I meet somebody new, I'm not even really, you know what I'm saying? I'm so hurt, I'm so damaged, or consciously or subconsciously, that I'm not even really looking for the emotional connection no more. I'm just trying to see, and it doesn't even have to be sex. What can you do for me physically? What can you buy me? Where can we go? I'm not even looking to get in a deeper level with you. It's more of like, what can you provide me with? So I know I might have low key. Yeah, I mean, I'll say a gold digger. I think it's just a lot of women who just ran into a lot of not shit men, and I don't think that's their fault. I think that, although you do have to be conscious of, you're falling into, or you're spiraling into something like that, I don't think it's healthy to stay in a mindset like that. But I think that goes both ways as well, though. I think men could be on that type of time when you run into a lot of women that, you just hasn't worked out. So now your whole mindset when you meet somebody new, or when you feel like it could be something, you're blocking it. You're not even allowing yourself to really accept that connection because you're so worried about being hurt. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's, like I said, I think it's multi-layered. I think for me, like I said, if I had to pick what makes the man go from physical to emotional, I would say time. And then when we flip that thing and say what makes a woman go from emotional to physical, I think it's just running into a lot of men that just couldn't hit the mark, if you will, or didn't, whether it be their fault or her fault, or it's just mutual.
That boy good.
Yeah, I did that. Let's cut that up.
Okay.
But no, that's what I think.
I'll agree with you.
I think he goes so much deeper too, though.
Yeah, I'm agree with you on the time that, to make a man go from physical to emotional. But I think it is time, because in that time, well, let me start like this. So, women, I'm not no one night stand, so it is time that you use to kind of verify and see things from that person that lets you know, okay, so maybe from the man's point of view. See what I did there? From a man's point of view, with the woman, the more time he spends with her. But let me back up though, because I why this kind of question perplexed me initially, and my mind kind of ran. I was like, wow, man, that's kind of deep, because you got to kind of understand why men are physical and why women are emotional from the onset. And for me, now this is just my Tonyology. I like that.
In the beginning.
The Tonyologies. In the beginning was Tony. Nah, let me stop that. So I think that we innately are physical creatures,
Right.
meaning we were made, we are hunters, protectors. So that's more on a physical side, meaning, and also I think that men are, when you come to the physical part, we are more visual creatures. Like we like to see it,
Mm-hmm.
where
Absolutely.
women like to feel it. And
Absolutely.
I'm speaking, emotional. So for a man, like, seeing a woman do something for us,
Mm-hmm.
more so than a woman knowing that, okay, I know he loves me and I have that connection based on just the feeling she gets. But those feelings have to come from what she sees from the man and vice versa. You know
Mhm.
what I'm saying? Like, okay, he goes to work and he takes care of the family.
Mhm. Mm-hmm.
That is a sign of love
Love.
and care. But
And like,
that's
let me
that's
stop
an
you right
emotional
there.
giver. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
yeah, but let me stop you right there. I think that it's so many times, and I don't want to lose where you're at because I know you were gonna make your point. But I think that we as men have to stop allowing that to be the way that we love. You know what I'm saying? Like, let that just be something that comes with it. You know what I'm saying? Don't let that be the only. Oh, I'm feeding you, so I love you. Oh, you got a house up your head. Like, bro, like, what are we talking about? Like, stop allowing that to be
Well, that's that.
the reason of
Yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
can't you see I'm doing all this for you? I love
But
you. You ain't looked her in the face all week.
and I
You know what I'm
agree to
saying?
that. I agree to
You ain't
that.
thought about it for all week. So I think that's a slippery slope. But go ahead.
Okay, but let me play devil's advocate.
And we all do it as
Right.
men. You know what I'm saying?
Because we show love by what we do.
Right.
That's kind of a man's mantra. Now,
Yeah.
and I hear you. I don't know if that's right or wrong, but that's how we tie into love, because it's I don't think that men were truly, it's not a innate feeling for us. Meaning we wasn't really, I mean, we have emotions, but definitely we have ego, I feel, before emotion. And I feel like, ooh, epiphany.
Talk to him.
So that's why men are so close to their mothers, because I feel like that's the first person who shows you unconditional love and emotion, right? And that's why men are really deep with their mothers. Like daughters should be deep with their fathers, because that's their first, thing with unconditional love. So with that being said, though, men, we have a tendency, to wrap our love in deeds.
Right.
Like you said, I give you this, I give you, what do you mean I don't love you? And when we do that, sometimes we forget about the emotion of just, the caress, the
small things.
the small things
Yeah.
that are tied to emotions.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? But I believe this though, and this gonna hit a little bit. We must be like that, because it's the softness or the emotion of the woman that makes her valuable. You get what I'm saying? Like, for instance, I mean, men, we don't want to date no hard woman. You know what I'm saying? If a woman has attributes like a man, then we like, okay. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it is that emotion in them that, we do need.
For sure.
And
Absolutely.
they need the providing the, the egotistical kind of stuff that we bring, maybe more on the logic side, because we're not, and ladies, don't, if you're
Yeah, you're gonna
there,
have them go crazy in the comments.
let me go on say this. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that women cannot be logical.
He said that by himself.
Shut up. But what I am saying, that we know that women can be more emotional before maybe being logical at some times. I'm just getting deeper and deeper. But my point is, but that's good. I mean, really, to be honest, women are made to be, I feel like, more emotional. That's their thing. That's what God gave in them,
Mhm.
and he gave us that hunter's mentality
Mhm.
to be a little harder, so we could provide and protect and do the things that a woman shouldn't have to do.
Right.
So I ain't gonna. I apologize, but I'm sorry, but not sorry. You know what I'm saying? Because it is that difference.
No, I don't know what you're saying, Tony.
That boy said he ain't gonna get canceled.
I do not know what you're saying at all.
That boy said
I think women
he
could
ain't
be.
gonna
Hey,
get
look.
canceled.
I think women could be any and
No,
everything.
I didn't say that. Now, see how you trying to. What I'm saying, yes, they can. What I'm saying is innately.
Right.
Don't let me break the. Now I break this thing down because I just got another epiphany.
Well, go ahead and break it down. You
Okay,
already
let me
broke.
break this thing down for we Christians.
You already broke it.
I already done broke it. No, for real though, and because we got to move on. But think about this. So God made Adam, right?
Are we going to the Bible?
Yo,
Ooh.
that's how you get out of it. That's the truth. The whole
Not
truth
my
and nothing
God.
but the truth. Oh my God. So, but no, follow me here.
We
So
walking.
God made Adam, right?
Mhm.
Okay, and he gave Adam a charge and a job, right? He was to what? Take care of the garden, right? Okay.
Of Eden.
Of Eden.
Yeah, I just had to throw that out there. I read my little Bible too. Don't do that. A garden of Eden. I'm with you. I'm walking with you.
Come on, walk with me and
Yeah,
talk
I'm
with
walking
me.
with you.
But he had a job,
Absolutely.
okay?
Mm-hmm.
What was Eve's job? And I know women gonna go crazy because yeah. But he gave Eve the job of being the help. What?
Adam?
Yeah, the help. Well, in the Bible, since you've been reading it.
Nah,
so.
you were supposed to let me throw out what I knew. Though. You weren't supposed to quiz me. I ain't say quiz me.
I'm educating.
What she was supposed to do?
What did she call? She was called the help. What? But people
Help.
say it wrong all the time.
Oh, I don't have no idea. Inform us. Helpmate?
See, that's what people say, but the Bible actually says help meet.
Oh, okay.
She's a help meet, right? So that means in my little thing, Adam had the charge,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So he had this whole thing, he's supposed to really take care of it. But he said, okay, hey, Adam can't, you need some help. I'm going to give you, somebody to help you, right? So with that help, he didn't give her the charge, right? She was just supposed to assist in a sense. But when I'm saying the charge was hard,
Okay.
the assist is easy. She wasn't responsible. So it still falls on Adam, but we needed her.
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Team effort.
Right. We needed her. We needed that meat,
Mm-hmm.
that softness, those emotions. We need that as men, just as they need the cover.
Mm-hmm.
They need that, cover. They need to be provided for and protected for. You know what I'm saying? Now, I know there are women out there, I don't need that. I could do my own thing, whatever. But innately, I feel like that's how we were made.
Gotcha.
We need each other.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But Adam got the charge, so it was a little harder. So what I'm saying is for a man to go from physical, and my uncle said something that's just popped into me. I was a little boy, man, maybe 7 or 8. My Uncle Joe, shout out to Uncle Joe. So Uncle Joe's a little different. My family's very religious. Your aunt,
But y'all
church
was
all
what?
day, every day, or whatever.
Where
Uncle Joe,
were y'all? Y'all were
we were Pentecostal.
Pentecostal.
That running
I
bass
wanted
line
to
in the
make sure.
hammer.
I wanted to make sure they knew that. All
Yeah,
right, continue.
Pentecostal.
What Uncle Joe said.
If y'all know about Pentecostal, y'all know we was in church all day, every day. Couldn't wear shorts.
What Uncle Joe say?
Uncle Joe with my cousins. My cousins were like 16, 17, at that time. We had went over to Uncle Joe's house.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I got to preface this. Uncle Joe wasn't really the gospel. He wasn't with all of that.
Right.
But he was a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
He was, and they listened to Uncle Joe. But Uncle Joe was a little secular.
Mm-hmm.
Uncle Joe that was the first time I had heard Al Green from his 8-track in his truck.
Mm-hmm.
He let me go outside. He said, hey, go outside and listen to this.
Damn, imagine listening to some new High Green.
So
You old, man. That's
shut up,
crazy.
man. So anyway, because I couldn't listen to secular music nowhere.
Right.
So,
And what was that emotion? I'm sorry. Like, what was that like when he stick the 8-track in and you heard Al Green for the first time? What was that like?
well, I first realized that gospel music and blues soul was almost like the same. I was like, this the same elements. I was like, this kind of sound like Sunday morning, you know. But he was like, hey, you know, you're a musician going there, and that's how I learned about Al Green and Marvin Gaye through the 8 tracks. So everybody else would be on the back of his trunk doing flips. I'd be in there listening to the music, you know, because I knew I ain't gonna be able to listen to it when I got home. But anyway, we went over to Uncle Joe's house. He was getting ready to go out, and this was like, you know, mid-70s. He had that butterfly collar, man, and I think it was a blue pastel suit and them shoes, them heels was like that. And that's how I learned, the first time I learned about magic shade, because the house was stink. Fellas, y'all know what I'm talking about, the magic shade, but it keeps you smooth.
It so do stink.
But it's
stink bad.
But it's good. Anyway, and I guess they would talk about relationships or whatever. And, you know, we could talk freely around Uncle Joe because, you know, that's just who he was.
Right.
We ain't had to be reverent about, you know. And I remember him telling my older cousins, it takes a woman to make a man. And I didn't know what that meant then. You know, I was like, and my cousins was giving him the business. Nah, I'm a man. It don't take no, you don't need no woman. He said, but I'm trying to tell you, man, take a woman, make a man. You know, and I think for me, what that means to me now, that women do teach us that emotional piece. It's okay to be soft. It's okay to show emotion. You know, if she ain't using her powers for evil, you know what I'm saying? Some women, you know,
take advantage.
They'll take advantage of that.
Yeah.
So I think what makes a man go from physical to emotional, number one, he has to have a woman that will allow him to be emotional and not use that against him later down. Oh, you was in there crying like a little baby. Or, you know, he be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing too. You got to have a woman who will let you be vulnerable, be yourself.
In all spaces.
Yeah, in all spaces, and know how to build you up, you know, and vice versa. We have to be a place where they know they have security. There's a plan.
Yeah,
because you know,
a good safe haven.
Right, because women are, you know, man, women are detailistic. That's why they usually don't get caught cheating, because they.
He trying to get canceled for real, bro.
No, but for real, check this. This just came to me. I know you about to stop letting stuff come to you.
Gonna be...
All right. Okay, let me ask you a question. I'm going to ask y'all a question out there. Let's say, you know, you're about to go on a trip with your family and your husband, wife, whatever. What are the things, I'm going to ask you this, what are the things that you, as the man, what would be, give me top 3 things that you would be concerned about the trip? What are you, you know?
And you said I'm going with my family or my significant other?
Yeah, you're going with your wife or your significant other. What are the 3 things? Now, y'all live together, though. So what are the 3 things that you would be more concerned about, most concerned
during the trip?
No, before the trip.
Oh, maybe like paying for the trip.
Okay, finances.
Yeah, make sure we get there on time, whatever.
How we getting there? We driving with
all the can't think of the word I'm looking for, but all of the things that make the trip go, basically.
Okay, right. The bones.
The
bones of the trip.
Yeah.
Where we going?
How we
gonna get
Who
there?
Paying for it?
Where we stand? Do we have enough money?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Now, where do you think the woman gonna be? What's her top?
That's the setup. She thinking about everything I'm thinking about because we together, and she's assisting me.
Okay, but
she's making sure that all those things get done, and she's double checking them just in case if I miss something.
Okay,
paying some fees if she needs to pay them.
Help meeting.
Yeah.
Okay, but let me tell you what I think she's thinking about, and that's why I said the whole thing about women don't usually get caught cheating because they're very detailed. She gonna be thinking about what lights to leave on in the house. She might be thinking about so detailistic. Oh, I'm gonna pack some lunch, some fruit for because we driving to go to whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She might be thinking, hey, I'm gonna call the neighbor to tell them to come get the mail because we gonna be gone.
Mm-hmm.
She gonna be thinking about, hey, do you have your passport? I mean, very
Yeah.
detailistic stuff.
Yeah.
I got your medicine.
Dotting all the I's, crossing all the T's.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And we are not really truly built to think like that. We don't really truly think like that. We think more broadly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got
and
you.
that's why I say they are needed.
Yeah. Yeah.
See how I brought that thing back around?
I'm glad you did. I'm so glad you did. Because I was waiting for it to connect. But
yeah, so back to the question. So what makes a man definitely the answer I would go with time, but I would also say that woman being vulnerable, that woman making him feel comfortable. She is, consistent. She's fair, maybe, and like I said, we're visual creatures.
I would like to add something to the second question. 'Cause, I think I said initially it was like being emotionally scarred that would make a woman go from emotional to physical. But I think also just comfort, her feeling that you are safe. Like, you know what I'm saying? You providing that safe haven can also change her from being emotional to, you know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like once she feels safe around you, once she knows
Consistent
that you
patterns
can,
of
it's like,
respect,
okay.
honesty.
Right. Now I don't mind making the relationship a little more physical because I know that, I could trust you and that you're going to take care of business when business needs to be taken care of. So I think that's a two-wayer for me because I was thinking instantly negative for some reason when we were saying like why a woman wouldn't want to go, emotional first or why it would change.
Yeah.
And I was thinking negative, but I think even in a positive aspect, like, once she feels that she can trust you and that she's safe, I think that's another reason why they can go from emotional to physical.
And I think, when she feels emotionally seen,
Heard, for
heard,
sure. Yeah.
valued, she begins to
Open up.
open the door to physical closeness. How about that?
Yeah.
See how I said that? The physical closeness. But that trust over time, is big. So I think that was a good question, man. Time spent reveals, it qualifies, it shows flaws, it shows
It
opportunities.
shows you who that person is,
Right.
you know? You get to learn who that is.
So I think
The ins and outs.
would you think there is another other than time? Could you think of something else that would make a man go from physical to emotional and
Hurt?
a woman pain?
Pain.
Ooh.
I think anytime you get brought down to your knees and you have to, like, need people in a moment where you wouldn't have needed them or wouldn't want to need them, I think that can change a man from physical to emotional because, I mean, it's only so much people can hold or can bear. And I think, when you get hit with unexpected things or, you just have moments where you just kind of break down, and your significant other is there, whomever is there, I think it's an unwanted type of emotional connection at the time, maybe. But I think that's another way that most men, and I feel like that's another way men, like, when you break down in front of your girl for the first time or whatever, you get to see if that trust and
What she gonna do?
yeah,
with that?
like, is she gonna play me?
Right.
Or is she gonna comfort me and give me what I need to build me
Right.
back up to get me back where I need to be? So yeah, I think time and just unexpected pain or just unexpected circumstances can bring you down to that emotional stage way quicker for men or unexpectedly for men. And I think that's a whole nother, you know what I'm saying, great conversation to dive into. But yeah, I think time and just hurt, time and pain.
Man, time and pain.
I did that.
Pain. Remember that song
No.
by it was Time and Chance though.
You done changed the whole.
Yeah,
You done remixed
oh,
the
what
whole
was my
song.
boys, man? They song Sex You Up. I wanna sex you up.
Yeah.
They had another song up tempo called Time and Chance.
Well, you find out, let me know.
Well, anyway. All right, so I got a question for Cheryl. Since you threw a question, I got a question for you and for the people out there listening. Ask yourselves this, and maybe once y'all start responding to the podcast on YouTube and your other podcast platforms that we're on, you can answer this. Have you ever found yourself more emotionally connected after something physical or the opposite? And what made that shift happen for you?
It's for the women, right?
Well, I mean, it could be for the man too.
Okay.
Have you ever found yourself more emotionally connected after something physical or after something emotional? Well, that don't make sense. Have you
Yeah.
ever found yourself more emotionally connected?
I'm over here like, huh?
No. Have you ever found yourself more emotionally connected after something physical?
Right. Period.
Yeah. Period.
Yeah.
Period. Poo.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a question.
I
You gonna answer it?
Yeah, I'll answer it. I would love it for our
You really gonna do it?
our wonderful viewers to DM us and
You
comment
really gonna do it?
and definitely give y'all answers. I think yes, man. I
Don't
think
squabble up then.
yeah, I think there's been times and like I said, I'm not really speaking from a personal standpoint, but I'm just saying, like, I'm thinking in the grand scheme of things, there are times when people go through a physical or activity, whatever that may be, and then after it kind of touched your soul. It kind of touched your soul to where you start that
Touch
emotion.
your soul or take your soul.
Hey, wherever the soul.
You know
going.
how they was saying, I'm about to take your soul.
But I think after something like an experience like that, I think some emotions could come out to where it probably wouldn't have came out at all, or maybe would have came out a little later if that experience wasn't as good or bad. You know what I'm saying? You might have had the physical aspect might have been bad, and now the emotions that you thought that you had are no longer there because you like, well, I can't be with nobody who doesn't satisfy me in this area. You know what I'm saying? And so it's like, okay, he may be a dope guy. He got a nice job and he hits all these check boxes, but he doesn't satisfy me in this area. So where does that emotion go after that? Do I sacrifice this to,
boy,
you know what I'm saying?
That boy so is
You know what I'm saying?
good.
So,
That boy is good.
holla at your boy, man. Holla at your boy.
Holla at your boy. That's deep.
That is deep.
That is
I
deep.
think so many women, I think there's more women that go through that than me. I mean, I think there's men that sacrifice certain things, of course, as well. But I think when we're talking about physical aspect of it, like, there's not so many men I feel like that are willing to sacrifice like bad sex. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because
you
really
but a woman will sacrifice that for years.
Love, for love,
for a family, for a home.
That's what I was. See how you coming back in?
No, you didn't
say it like that. That's what I was saying.
You didn't say it like that.
That's what I was saying.
You did not say it like that.
You're right though. They will sacrifice that.
Yeah. Whole time,
for love.
Whole time you think you doing something.
You ain't doing nothing.
Doing that.
You might as well just get on up like James Brown. Get up, get on up, get up, get on up.
I think that's so crazy, bro. I think women do that all the time, and to all our women listeners, please don't ever sacrifice. Of course, there's no relationship, no anything is going to be perfect. There are always going to be things that you know could be better, could be whatever, but don't completely just sacrifice something that's important to you in a relationship or anything to just to be there, just to say this is what I'm doing, just to
because I'm gonna
find your happiness first.
What's gonna happen in that? What the example that you used though?
Resentment.
What's gonna happen? Yeah, at the end you come out and when she come out and say, I ain't, you wasn't never
Oh
he
my
gon'
God.
yeah, I'm gonna be crushed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a wrap after
my
that.
ego done.
Because once as a man, once a woman I feel like tells you that you're
Because
not
that's what
satisfying
we-
her,
yeah.
especially sexually,
Yeah, it's
Man.
you done.
man, that's a
You're
tough
done.
That's a tough
Yeah, you're not coming back from
That's a
that.
tough You might as well take that L. Yeah,
Yeah,
hold that L.
yeah.
And get the kids on the weekend. 'Cause it's a wrap. It's a wrap. And go ahead and let her go and let her be free. You know what I'm saying? Men don't be trying
that's
to
our
don't be trying to
egos,
like
though.
yeah, but that ain't it.
But I'm just saying, that's if one thing you want to crush a man with, you crush his,
Oh
with,
yeah.
with that, like
Yeah.
saying, oh, hey,
Yeah.
yeah, you was horrible in bed. And yeah, a man gonna be,
Yeah, that's a tough one.
yeah.
That's a tough one. Well, yeah.
I think that's gonna take us to halftime right now. I need a drink off that one.
No, that was good. That was good.
That is good.
I think a lot of our listeners gonna be able to relate, whether
Yeah,
they
but
admit
I
or
like-
not,
Yeah, but I like that advice. Don't let, your happiness
be
in
sacrificed.
any aspect.
Yeah.
In any aspect.
And the areas that you're not happy in, like I said, because no relationship is perfect, but as long as you are willing and trying to be better in that area, it's worth it. But the moment it's just something that you can't work at it, and it's just sacrificing your happiness. Don't ever stay in something that's just
and especially
keeping you
if
there.
the other person you've articulated
Yeah,
that, hey, this is what I need,
Yeah.
and they're not putting
that effort
forth any effort to
Yeah.
get you there.
that
See
tells
what
you
I did
everything.
there?
That tell you
To
yeah.
get you there. You see what I did?
You gotta chill out, son. That was PG-13.
It is.
We sliding in the rated R.
To get you there, then that person really doesn't
Value
value you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
That was good.
Let's go to halftime, man.
All right.
All right. Back from the halftime. Boy, Cheryl, that question right there. Yeah, that one I had
That was
to
a good
go
one.
on and, have a little communion.
Yeah, because when this drop,
Little communion.
it's over for you. So yeah, you might as well go ahead and enjoy now.
Man, I think we would spend
Bob, what we drinking today? That good old
Uncle Nearest.
Uncle Nearest. Uncle Nearest,
Uncle
go ahead and throw
Nearest,
the sponsorship,
1884.
man.
A
Yeah.
smooth blend.
Smooth.
Blend of whiskey.
Smooth.
Hey, in your favorite cocktail or just on the rocks. Uncle Nearest. I'm talking about Uncle Blend.
Uncle Blend.
Uncle Nearest, they're going to be like, nah, we don't want you for no...
You had them in the first half.
yeah, I had
though.
it the first
Yeah,
time,
you
but
lost
yeah.
it.
But
But yeah,
anyway, communion, and to get the worms out, for stomach's sake. I think the word say for stomach's sake.
Yeah.
Anyway, very good topic, man. I mean,
that was dope.
we could go. Cheryl, you get the MVP, and I ain't got the trophy. Cheryl, you are the MVP for this week. That's what we're gonna start doing, man. Whoever the question that we give or topic that we choose, they the MVP for the week. So Cheryl, you're the MVP for the week.
Congratulations, Cheryl.
Congratulations. But yeah, that was a good topic, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Really good topic. And I hope we brought a little clarity.
Yeah, I hope that we get some feedback from it.
Yeah,
Good
definitely some
comments, good
feedback because we might
emails.
have to do a part 2 to this one after we get some
Bringing
feedback.
a guest with it, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, definitely. We gotta bring in a guest. We get Ernest, our engineer, who's here with us. Man, he was at halftime. He was giving some knowledge, dropping some hard knowledge. So I think what we're gonna do, man, we're gonna do a part 2 of this. Cheryl, look at you, Cheryl. We're gonna do a part 2 of this. Bring Ernest on, man. Let Ernest,
Bless
kind
us.
of bless us with what he was putting down at halftime. But good topic, man. Good topic.
Yeah.
All right, that brings us to one of my favorite parts of the show. Outside the lines. What you talking about today, boy? What you talking about?
So much going on.
It is. So much
I
going
feel like we
on
always
in the
do sports.
LBC.
You
Let's talk
been
about-
caught up on that Diddy situation?
Oh, they say Diddy kind of lost it in the courtroom the other day.
I'd have lost it too. I'd have been lost it, but
He gonna lose it too. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like they say, pray ye one for another. And I ain't throwing no stones, but
yeah.
But yeah,
They
that
say
one
I think Kanye had came up there to I
not
think to
Yee.
help him out or whatever. What's the
Oh.
word I'm looking for? Not to not to like go on the stand or nothing against him,
Oh,
but
not to testify,
but to
but-
advocate for him or whatever.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, Yeezy.
But you know,
say-
Yeezy kind of throw it off too. So.
Yeah, so I don't know if I want Yeezy
But Yeezy,
advocating for me. Not in a court of law.
yeah. I mean,
I'm just saying,
no,
but
I feel it. I feel it.
so yeah, man. I just hate, that and I got a story for that, but I ain't gonna go
What?
to it because my Diddy story.
Oh yeah, tell them how you escaped Diddy, escaping P Diddy. Tell them right quick though, because they don't know. Right quick though. When I say quick, I mean right quick.
So 1996, I was a part of a 3-man group called Picture This. Shout out to Jazz Jackson and Dante Charles. We dropped a single called Every Breath You Take by Sting. Every breath you take. All right. So we were signed to Vision Records, which was a subsidiary of Solar Records, Sounds of Los Angeles Records. But our group was in Atlanta, so we were out of Atlanta. So one day we come into the studio and our A&R guy says, man, y'all ain't gonna believe this. The president of the record label was there and everybody was there. And we was like, what's going on? What's going on? He was like, man, we got a call from Bad Boy. And this is when Bad Boy wasn't nothing. Like,
oh really?
They wasn't, it wasn't Bad Boy like we know it today. They had just started. Remind you now, this like mid-90s, 96. I don't even know what artists they had at the time. But, he was out there, but wasn't like nothing like he is now. So our president of the label said, hey, Bad Boy came. They told us not to release our single. And our single was a remake of Every Breath You Take. And you can find it on Spotify. Picture This. Go get that. Spotify, Every Breath You Take by Picture This, PYCTURTHYS, your mama, Picture Ties. Well, people say.
I see that exit.
Yeah, Picture Ties, see that exit. So anyway, but what they wanted was, our label wanted money. Our label wanted money, and only thing they wanted to give us, he said, I'll give you distribution and I'll, for your other single, and I'll put you guys in the video, blah, blah, blah.
So wait, I don't feel like you telling the story good. So he didn't want y'all to put out a single.
No.
Why?
Because he came back with Missing You.
All right, you ain't say that.
Okay, I was going to say it. So Missing You, if you know Missing You, the song that he did for my boy Biggie.
Yeah.
Baby. That's Every Breath You Take by Sting. So it was like, hey, don't release this.
How did they find out that y'all had that record?
Well, we was out there. We was on the.
But the record went out.
We was on we sung in this showcase, and back in the day, record companies used to have like a convention where, new artists would come and they would, sing their songs, blah, blah, blah.
Through the grapevine.
Through the grapevine. Heard it through. So anyway, they say don't release the song. Our label was like, nah, we need some money. We're not trying to just do that. Boom, boom, boom. So he was like, nah, I'm not trying to give y'all no money. Nothing like that. So we went on and released the song. He went on and released Missing You. And guess what group that he got? Now, mind you, my group was a 3-man group. If you go look at the video of Missing You, you'll see a 3-man group sing in the background. And that 3-man group was?
Well, 112?
112.
Dang. 112 got messed over too, though, didn't it? So, dang.
And I'm going to just throw this out there. I'm going to just throw this out there just, because it.
But did they really get messed over, though? Because you still know who 112 is. Picture This here still kind of,
Well, I'm glad you asked, Taylor.
Yeah. Go into that for us, Tony.
So I asked God, and me and God, what's up, homeboy? I was like, why we couldn't make it? What?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer I got was you be dead.
Diddy would have got you. Diddy would have got you dead. It's
He
crazy.
ain't talking about Diddy would have got me.
said
He was
Diddy-
just saying
He said Diddy would have took you
no.
out.
It,
That's
it
what
was
he
the,
said.
well the industry.
Yeah.
The industry,
You
man.
wasn't ready. You wasn't ready to be a
Nah,
part
we
of
were because
Illuminati.
we were at that time. You know, I was very egotistical. You know, we thought we could sing. We thought we was God gifts to women and all that stuff, man. So we would have these parties and the stuff they
You
talking
would have been
about.
at the freak offs. You would have been at the freak offs. That is crazy.
I wouldn't have been at no
Thank
freak
you,
off because
God.
my father raised me right.
You would have been at the freak offs.
I was I hope to have been the moral conscience of the group,
Yeah.
but the music industry, man, is
That's
the little
ruthless.
that I got into. Really, I mean, it's something, man. It's some stuff, and if I see how artists get, get thrown into this, and they lose their consciousness and their morals and values and stuff because they're chasing that. Everybody want to be famous, so. With that being said, that's a great segue.
Yeah.
So all I've done since then or whatever, those who know me,